Robert sat in his car outside the therapist's office, his hands gripping the steering wheel so tightly that his knuckles turned white. It wasn't the first time he'd sat here, staring at the unassuming brick building with the neatly painted sign. But every time, something stopped him from going in. He grew up in a world where silence was strength and vulnerability was weakness. His father, a man of few words, always said, "What happens in this house stays in this house." And so, Robert learned to mask his pain. The panic attacks, the restless nights, and the creeping numbness were just things he dealt with alone. It wasn't until his daughter, Mia, asked him, "Daddy, why do you always look sad even when you're smiling?" that something in him shifted. Her innocent words exposed the cracks he'd tried so hard to hide. That night, Robert sat in his room, staring at his reflection in the mirror. He thought about the generations of men in his family who carried their pain silently. His grandfather, who fought in the war but never spoke of it, and his uncle, who drowned his struggles in a bottle. He realized he didn't want that legacy for Mia. So here he was, outside the therapist's office, wrestling with the voices in his head. One said he didn't need help, that he could handle it on his own. The other whispered that maybe, just maybe, seeking help wasn't a sign of weakness, but of strength. Finally, Robert took a deep breath and opened the car door. As he stepped inside the office, he felt the weight on his chest begin to lift, if only slightly. He didn't know what the journey ahead would look like, but for the first time, he felt he wasn't walking it alone. Most people can't comprehend their troubles if deeply rooted. The trauma could be from a family member, therefore we mute it. Our brains compute it, but spiritually we dispute it. Light workers like myself were sent back to help troubleshoot it. At times the sun shines while bombarding with rain. Sometimes the biggest smiles hides the most pain. Keep your composure, remain calm, nonchalant. No one's accountable but you for your emotional response. Meditation will reveal who's your supreme authority, but our community's mental health needs to be a priority.